Hi everybody, my name is Brian, and in this video we're going to go over some pentatonic fluency drills. We've already talked about some other concepts, but for this particular thing we are going to talk about some of the more flashy guitar techniques. And we're going to take pattern 1, or at least what I call pattern 1. It's technically the 5th position if you're in the key of C or A minor, kind of the same thing. But yeah, it's the 5th fret, 8th fret, 5th, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 8th, 5th, 8th fret. So there you go. Pentatonic pattern 1 in the key of A minor / C major, same thing. What we're going to do here is, if we focus in on the last 2 strings, or the first 2 strings depending on your numbering system, you'll get this big rectangle. And we're going to focus on this big rectangle just to keep things really easy, but you can apply this to the entire pattern too if you wish. But here in this big rectangle, we can do kind of a lot of things. So one of the techniques that you can work on is hammering on. So what is a hammer on? Well, you take a note and you use your left hand to hammer the string, and hopefully you get a pitch out of it. Okay, extra credit if you do it with a metronome. But that's not really the main point of this. We've already done kind of rhythmic things earlier. So anyway, hammering on. You can hammer on and move to the next string and see if you can get into the habit of hammering on. So that's one kind of thing to explore. You can also do this with all the strings. Yeah. The opposite of hammering on is pulling off. So again, just focusing on the rectangle. You pluck the note, rake the string, and holding the next note already in advance. So you see how both my fingers are already primed. And it's kind of like a snapping feel. And again, extra credit if you play it with the metronome, but you can work on pull-offs. And again, you can expand it to the entire pattern if you wish. And I'm only picking once. Now you can combine the 2 techniques of hammering on and pulling off by going hammer on and pull off. And then again, you can apply this to all the strings. You can also start with a pull off and then a hammer. So those are just different concepts to kind of pepper in technique to your scale drilling. You can also work on bends, and there's lots of videos on this online, but I'm just going to give you some short concepts. I don't really like bending off of the pointer finger, but you totally can do it. But if we just focus on the rectangle, now if you don't know how to bend yet, that deserves its own video, but you're just holding onto the string and you're muscling it up. Now there's a certain pitch you're trying to reach, but without a chord in the background, especially if you're first starting out, it's going to be hard to hear it. So even if you're not really bending it correctly, so it's got a pitch there, but if you're just working on the technique, that's all that really matters. You can work on bends. You can also work on pre-bends. And the ultimate is you can do a hammer-on pull-off bend. So you can kind of see how the sky's the limit with this stuff. And then again, you can apply it to the entire pattern if you wish. One other technique to kind of explore is slides. And sliding, to me, it's kind of tricky. So if you slide with your pointer finger, technically you're moving into the next adjacent pattern. But you can just focus on the slide itself. And then be mindful of different fingers you use. So even though positionally you'd be using your pointer finger here, sliding in position, maybe using your pinky or your ring, you would do something like that actually. Now you're in the rectangle, but if we're just focusing on the sliding technique itself, and see how I'm switching my fingers, right? I'm starting with my pointer finger, and then I do it with my ring finger as well. And if I did my ring finger, technically I'd start here. So again, that's just incorporating slides into your scale patterns. And yeah, those are just different things to spicing things up, because how many times can you just go up and down your scale before that gets boring, right? So there you go, some different things to work on in your pentatonics.